Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. This is Ankai Media. We are your hosts. My name is Ocean Subiano.
I'm Taylor Vieira.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with our 101st episode. If you guys have not checked out our 100th episode, please go give it a watch. It's a little bit different than usual. We're not talking about any movies or TV shows or anything. It's a pretty fun one, and we had a good time making it, and it was good to reminisce and talk about some stuff. So go give that a watch. But for this episode, ladies and gentlemen, it's finally here. We made it. We made it all the way to the end. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do a final impressions or a final breakdown to Star Wars, Lucasfilms, and Disney Plus's original series titled Andor. This is the 12th and final episode of the first season, and we're going to talk about it because if you've been with our channel, you know that this is like a weekly thing for us, and we're gonna it's done. The finale is here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about it. There's a lot to kind of unpack, I think, and I'm very interested to see what your thoughts are on a lot of stuff. And there's some good, and there's definitely some bad. So stick with us, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do this in traditional fashion. Start off with spoilers. Spoiler-free, Give it a quick score. And this score will be for the entire season and not just the final episode. And then we will dive into some spoilers. So, spoiler-free section. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are, Taylor. What did you think of the episode as a finale first? We'll start off with just a finale episode.
As a season finale, I thought it was okay.
Did it surprise you at all? Was it better than you were anticipating the finale to be?
No.
Really? Interesting. Okay. Because for me, it was way more complex and like just had way more in it than I was expecting. I wasn't expecting that much stuff to happen. And so I give it.
It had things in it that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
But it's not like
it didn't wow you.
No. Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't say that this episode wowed me. I think it was a really solid episode.
Yeah.
And it's a better way to end the season than I was anticipating it being, because we had talked about.
I was expecting worse.
Yeah, like we had talked about in our last few episodes that like. Especially after the Prison Break scene or the Prison Break episode, we were just like, well, what do they do now? Like, where do we go now? How do we end and how do we wrap up this season without it feeling like just like a total drop off? And I think they figured out a way to do it at least, and maybe not give us an incredible finale, but at least not end on a horrible note. So I enjoyed it as a finale. What do you think about the season as a whole?
I feel like the season as a whole, I think we talked about it last episode.
Yeah,
I feel like it's about the same overall, including the finale.
Did this finale change your overall score?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Well, speaking of scores, let's dive into our scores. We'll start off with a score just for finale episode, and then we'll do a season long score. So for finale specifically, what is your score today?
For the episode by itself, I think I would give it a 7, and then the season as a whole would be the 6.
6. Sticking with the 6. Okay. So for me,
above average.
Yeah, slightly above average.
Yeah,
which is not bad. Not bad. For me personally, as far as the finale episode goes, I'm going to give it a 7. Because it wasn't bad. It did more than I was expecting it to do, but it didn't like knock my socks off, which I didn't expect it to, because there really wasn't a whole lot that they could do.
Well, yeah.
But the stuff that they did do, I think, was done well and executed well, and definitely sets up some future stuff. So for that reason, I'll give it a 7. My overall score for the series is an 8, I think. I really enjoyed the series. It wasn't something that I was like, oh, I can't wait to watch Andor this week. But when I did watch it, I enjoyed myself during, like, while I was sitting there watching it. I enjoyed watching it for the 45 minutes every week. And some of the points that, like, my dad has made to me talking to him about it, and some other people, I've gained a I don't want to say deeper respect or different respect, just uh, made some more sense, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll go 7 for the episode, and on the season, giving it an 8.
Yeah.
Solid series.
Yeah, it's a good show.
And I think there's definitely some potential for more. They're saying 3 seasons, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 3.
Supposed to be 3 seasons, and the way this season ends, I think it sets us up to kind of dive right into some pretty cool stuff the next season, which we'll talk about in the spoiler-free section. So, if you have not seen Andor yet, ladies and gentlemen, my final recommendation to you is watch it. I think it's a good watch. There's some other stuff out there that I would say watch first. If you haven't watched anything or you're looking for something to watch,
Yeah, if you're looking for a show specifically, this is definitely a good show to watch.
Yeah, there are some other things out there that I would say watch first, but this is definitely towards the top of my list of things for you guys to watch if you're looking for something to pass some time or to watch. Plus it's 12 episodes, so
it's not super long.
I actually like the 12 episodes. I think it's a good amount of episodes so that you feel like you got a lot of story, but it's not a 20 episode season. You know what I mean? So
I don't know. It's a little weird to me because it's short, but for being so short, to me it felt too long. Versus a show where it could be like 20 episodes and an hour long per episode.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that way at all about the
yeah,
series.
I guess it definitely depends on the series and how it's written and whatnot. So, but is this world-class storytelling, Tyler?
You already know.
Have you finally understood why it's world-class storytelling?
No, it's still beyond me.
All right. Well,
it's a good show though.
Yeah, I think it's a solid show. So give it a watch.
It's a good Star Wars show, especially.
Give it a watch. Let us know what your guys' thoughts are on it, and then we will dive into some spoilers together. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is your official
spoiler alert.
All right, Taylor. Yeah, I'm glad that you feel the way that you do, because part of me was kind of expecting you to come in here and just not have liked it at all, and just kind of, because there are a few things where I could see Taylor probably.
There's
like,
a lot. There's a
when
lot
I
of
was
things
sitting there, I
in
was
here
like, Taylor probably didn't like that. Taylor probably didn't like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in this episode that I definitely did not like.
Yeah,
but I think it was okay, and since I was expecting worse and it didn't do that bad. It's all right.
All right, let's talk about a few different storylines. We'll start with one that we didn't get a whole lot of. Oh, skip that. We didn't get a whole lot of, but it's interesting, and I'm a little confused on it. So this is Mon Mothma's storyline, right? Where we were left off, I don't think it was last episode, right? Last episode didn't have any Mon Mothma in it, I don't think, or maybe had a little bit.
It's just a tiny bit.
But where we were left off last was that Mon Mothma was trying to find a way to get help with her financial situation, and
she didn't want to get help.
Yeah. And her friend Tay introduced her to this crime boss or whatever dude, and he was willing to help her in exchange for an introduction of his son to Mon Mothma's daughter, which, I mean, basically she's selling her daughter for help, but not really. I mean, it's a gray area.
It is.
But it is.
100%.
It is. You're selling your daughter. So I just want to kind of talk about a few things on this particular storyline. One being that there's another scene in this episode of Mon Mothma and her husband. I can't remember his name. Douchebag, we'll call him. But they are leaving a party or something, and she's in the car waiting for him, and she asks for privacy from the driver, who we all know that the drivers are planted there by ISB, or it ends up being the ISB, but we knew it was planted there by the Empire. And she accuses her husband of gambling, right? Apparently he's had a gambling problem in the past, which doesn't surprise me. And she accuses him of gambling. He obviously denies it. And it's very clear to me, at least, that it's a ruse for her to try and, because she knows the driver's listening despite her saying, hey,
Right.
give us privacy. And she's trying to like explain away why we have 400,000 credits missing.
Yeah.
Right. And it kind of works. Like, we get a scene of the driver going to an ISB officer and telling him what happened, and the officer's like, "Oh, that kind of makes sense." But like in my head, if you did that and it was somewhat successful, did we need this scene?
See, this was actually one of the problems, right?
Yeah, like I don't understand why
First
this
of
scene
all,
happened. Unless
anything that happens is still boring to me, and I don't care about any of these characters.
Sure.
And they finally set up we're gonna meet the kids and whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever. But yeah, what you're talking about with the driver thing, yeah, I felt the same way. I was like, how the hell do they believe this lie? Like something so simple.
Yeah. Like,
and they're like, oh yeah, whatever, it's fine. You've been scouting, like, reconning her for so long.
right.
And this is what, like, knocks you off the trail?
Yeah.
Couldn't you have done this a long time ago?
Right. Well, so the explaining away, or the thought in my head that kind of explains it is that maybe like this. So let's say she agrees with the mobster to introduce their kids, and then the mobster's like, "Oh, this is what you're going to do. We're going to pin it on your husband," essentially. And then now she's like following through on her end of the deal by actually introducing the daughter and the son. That's kind of what I'm guessing is what happened, but I don't know.
I don't know. That's still a pretty dumb.
Yeah, I don't
reasoning.
like it. I don't like it because it's kind of a convenience thing where like,
Especially because, as we've learned through this show, when we try to think of reasons
Right.
why this show does it, it is totally not
Right.
true. Because we find out in the next episode that it was just bad.
yeah.
So even if that were the case, I don't believe it, for one. But even if it was, it's still stupid.
Probably, yeah. I don't know. I don't like it. I still don't understand why Vel can't just give her 400,000 credits because she's got
Because that would be
millions
too
of them.
easy.
Like I don't get like why.
Because she
Why
has to
can't that
steal it
just-
herself.
I mean, I guess
For the
maybe they
rebellion.
gotta like. She's got to explain it on books. You know what I mean? Like give a reason that like, oh, we just misplaced. Like instead of saying, oh, we just misplaced 400,000 credits. Here you go. Because then that might be a little suspicious. But at the same time, it's like. You could probably find
Yeah, but
out
I'm sure you could make some stupid
equally
political,
stupid
political
excuse.
gift
Yeah.
for some campaigning
Right.
thing. Like, there's so many reasons you can use as
Yeah.
a politician.
Yeah, so and then this scene in particular was a little eerie for me. Obviously, Martha does not like it. I don't really know whether or not the husband is like in on it, like whether or not he understands what's happening. But then the daughter seems like into it,
Yep. She likes it.
and so like
As soon as she sees the kid,
well, even before then, like when they're walking up to the door, she's not like upset at her mom, like, why are you making me go meet these people? And like, she doesn't have that
maybe
face.
she kind of knows who
But
the kid is. I don't know.
I think so. There was another scene in another episode when Vel is visiting, and the daughter is in like another room reciting this stuff. And I guess it's old Chandlerland stuff.
Whatever club thing.
Yeah, but then Vel turns around and is like, "Are you taking proposals?" And I'm like
Maybe she's
I
just
think
so
what's
into
happening-
the traditional stuff.
yeah, I think the daughter is like bought into some traditional things, and so like I think the daughter thinks this is like a betrothal or like potential, thing, and she's like into it, which is weird to me because normally 12-year-old daughters or 13-year-old daughter, however old she is like not even yeah. So I don't know. It's a little weird, but
This whole thing is just weird.
I just more so wanted to confirm whether or not what I was picking up is what you picked up, or if I was just off.
Nah, yeah, it's all weird. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Still don't like it.
The biggest problem I have with this storyline is that we obviously know where Mon Mothma ends up. and they are telling us where she starts, right?
Yeah.
But they haven't really made any headway towards the end goal. Everybody else has, Andor has, other people have, but Mon Mothma hasn't really made any progress towards becoming the head of the rebellion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest problem I have with the storyline is that there was really no development
Well,
throughout
the thing
the
that
entire
sucks is like
series.
since we know that she becomes like general
Yeah,
or is it admiral, whatever
something
the title,
like that. Yeah,
whatever title. Since we know what she, like you said, what she ends up as, the problem is, so it seems like they're just gonna have to wait for season 2 or 3.
right.
But the problem is,
We don't care
as
about it.
for somebody that is becomes like a very important leader, their characteristics and like like personality things
Right.
are always there. Like they were like some people are generally, especially like super famous, leaders.
Sure.
I would say they're kind of born to be that kind of person.
They're
what I'm saying?
innate.
Like some people do learn to do that, but as we know her in the end, like it would be weird to me
It's gonna take
to
a
see
lot
like
of
a
character
to see
development.
progression to get to that
Yeah.
point. And so it's just off-putting, and I would rather see her like, of course, like you'll have struggles and stuff, but she just doesn't have anything going right, like in my opinion. As
No,
somebody,
I get what you're saying. You're basically kind of saying the Mon Mothma that we see right here at the end of this season is not the kind of person that we would expect to end up becoming it's pretty much the main leader of the rebellion.
right, and makes like really important, smart decisions.
Yeah.
But here she just screws everything up.
Yeah.
Basically,
We haven't
has no idea what to do.
We haven't really seen her make a right decision essentially yet. So I definitely understand what you mean. I don't know what they're gonna do. It's gonna take a lot of development, a lot of character development in order
Right,
to end up
so-
at that point.
As of right now, it's just not
Yeah.
good. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we just don't understand it. World-class storytelling.
Yeah, you're right. All right.
All right. So that's pretty much all we get in this episode for that. And I don't know. It's whatever to me. So then we'll kind of work our way into this and talk about all the things that kind of piece into this. So, unfortunately, at the end in the last episode 11, Marva dies, and it's very sad. And at the end of the last episode, we get a conversation between Andor and a guy on Ferrix, telling him, "Hey, your mom died, but don't come back."
Yeah.
And then we even talk about in our episode breakdown of like, how dumb are you that you're gonna go back?
Yep.
And sure enough, Andor decides to come back to Ferrix for the funeral, or whatever. And I still feel the same way. I still feel like, dude, really,
it's equally as stupid.
yeah, it's dumb. It's like, really, dude, you're just like, you're just playing into their hand. Like, you're just playing into everybody's hand.
Yeah.
The Empire's hand, Syril's hand, freaking
Literally
Luthen's hand.
everybody.
Like, you're playing into everybody's hand, and I don't. It's another one of those things that like we know who Andor is at the end of everything, and it's just not a decision that I would have expected him to make.
Well, it's not only that. Like we've already seen him make very good decisions and stuff, and like actually act the way that I would imagine casting them to portray.
Right. And I get that this is a very emotional event and emotion clouds judgment, but I don't know. It's a little unbelievable for me. The way it's executed in the end, it kind of makes up for it a little bit for me because of some of the stuff that happens during the funeral and whatnot. But it's still like at the core of it, I still think it's a dumb move by Andor. Like, I don't know. So let's talk about a few things that kind of come of it. Number one, Marva has this hologram speech prepared,
Yeah.
And
This, I I thought the speech is cool.
sure.
I like the speech itself. This hologram, I do not like. This thing is massive.
Yeah.
Like this
Never
would
seen a-
probably this is like on the level of Snoke,
Yeah.
like hologram, and we have never seen this
Right.
except for villains using it.
Right.
So it's weird that this droid can just do that, like especially
And
a droid doing that.
And it's a droid in a place that is like not well off. It's not like
Yeah.
Because I'd imagine something like this is not cheap. Like something that
even
is
R2
capable.
can't even do this.
Yeah.
And he gets upgraded.
Something
but this
that is
little hunk of junk droid that does nothing can do
Right.
this.
No, I that is a valid point. But we'll just chalk that up to movie magic or whatever. But I like the speech. I did. And you know, Marva's very convincing in her speech, and her speech is good. But this goes back to what I was talking about in our breakdown of the last episode of they never show us anything of Marva becoming anything
She's nothing.
within Ferrix. Yeah. And they only introduced the daughters of Ferrix in the last episode. Right. And so it's just like all of a sudden
like,
Marva's
she
just
was
like
one of the presidents of the daughters of Ferrix. What does that mean?
Yeah,
what
we
is
don't,
that?
We don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then they're talking about like, oh, how she's a prominent member of Ferrix. And it's like,
what does that mean?
We
know that she's a person of Ferrix.
We know that like Bix and the other dude, I can never remember the dude's name. Like we know they all know of her and like her, and we know she saved Andor and whatnot. But like that doesn't mean
during this funeral, it's like you were like
the matriarch of Ferrix.
You saved us.
Yeah, and I was just kind of off put because I was like, okay, like sure, I guess you're a super prominent person in Ferrix and part of the sons of or daughters of Ferrix. I keep wanting to say Sons of Anarchy, but daughters of Ferrix.
They might want the Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah. So I get that you're saying that, but you never showed us anything that even backs that up at all, and that's what's frustrating about a lot of the other
something
like that. Let me see.
Is that the guy?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it kind of looks like him, but it's just.
So it's just frustrating because you guys. It would have been cool to see stuff that built up this repertoire, this image of who Marva is supposed to be here at this final point.
Yeah.
But we never got any of that. So we're sitting, at least for me, I'm sitting there like, she was really that big of a deal? Oh, yeah. All right. I mean, I guess like you're telling me, sure, I guess, but I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know that.
It felt weird.
Yeah, it did.
Because like I said, the speech itself was really well done.
It was moving.
Like she did a great job. But she like you said, it's like, where did all this come from?
Yeah. So
especially the setup too was great.
The funeral procession was really cool.
Space marching band with space flutes and space French horns and all this stuff and trumpets. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And like they make it super dramatic, and it's like, damn, who the hell is this?
Yeah, it's like they were doing something for like the president of Ferrix.
I mean, she was the president of the Daughters of Ferrix, but like, what does that mean?
Exactly. No, I agree with you. I will say real quick that I actually think it's really cool what they do for their dead by
the brick
cremating them and then compacting their ashes into a brick.
Definitely cool.
And then adding them to the wall. I actually think it's really cool. And like to my knowledge, at least off the top of my head, I can't think of anything else that does that specifically. So
I'm sure there's
similar stuff, but like, I think it's pretty cool.
I like that idea too.
Yeah, especially for a place that's not, I guess I keep saying not well off, but just an underprivileged society. It's a pretty cool way to do it. So I don't know. The whole parade was really cool. The people, whoever they are, they all have different like uniforms. Some are yellow, some are red, some are orange.
People, yeah.
And it's cool, but it would have been even cooler if we had gotten some backstory to what Marva was doing this whole time.
Which is so weird, right? Because where was all this world class storytelling for Marva?
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree, 100%. Some cool things that happen out of this though is Marva's speech creates a riot, basically. Like she basically was like, "Let's fight," and a fight breaks out, and we finally get to see the man that we've been waiting to see fight Browse or about whatever his name is, Browson. And
this is where I immediately like stopped liking what was going on. There's so many things that I have issues
so
with.
I think I can kind of pick out what you have issues with. So my guess is that there's a lot of like, it just doesn't make sense why they're even remotely giving the stormtroopers and stuff a problem.
Well,
Like,
the very beginning of it is where it just obviously where it starts is the guy comes out, right, and she's like talking or she's about to finish her speech or whatever, and that's when everybody's like getting all amped up or whatever. And this officer comes in, he's like, "Enough of this,"
and puts his coat
throws
over.
his coat over it, but doesn't cover the damn thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, what was the point of that? So you didn't
He only
even
covers half of it.
Yeah,
so
you
half
didn't
her
even
face.
cover it, so she still finishes the speech or whatever.
Yeah.
So he looks like an idiot there. Then I think this is when Brasso just takes the brick and just like bashes him on the head. Which, for one, that's cool. I'm glad you're starting the fight. Then it's like, but nobody does anything. You just took a brick and just assaulted this officer with a deadly weapon, and nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
They're just all standing there. And it's weird because, like, in this picture, I don't even know why they... So I also wanted to ask, like, did you notice about their helmets that I was talking about before?
Yeah.
It looks like Kylo Ren.
Yeah, it does.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
So they have all these, like, I guess, riot dudes, but it's like, why don't you just have the stormtroopers doing everything? You don't even need riot gear. You just have guns.
Just shoot.
Yeah, all you have to do is just stand there and they won't do anything.
Yeah,
they
because
don't
none of
get
them
shot.
have guns. Yeah.
Because, look, I understand if it was not Star Wars, right, and this is not the Empire, you don't want to, like, murder people because you want to look...
politically correct or
whatever.
Sure.
But this is the Empire.
Yeah,
And
they
this
don't
is
give a
Star
shit.
Wars. They don't give a fuck. They would just kill everybody.
Yeah.
So why do you even have these guys here? They look cool. Don't get me wrong. But, like, why are they here?
I get what you're saying.
And then after a while, then they start, kind of getting riled up.
skirmish,
And they just kind of set up their wall or whatever. And they just get their asses whooped, basically, the whole time. Like, the Empire just gets wrecked. The entire riot.
I mean, in the beginning, so... Yeah. Kind of. They kind of hold their own when they have the wall, but then the kid, the son of... So a large portion of the beginning of this episode is this kid who is the son of one of the shopkeepers where Bix's radio was.
Yeah.
And she essentially got him in trouble with the Empire, and I'm guessing he's dead now because this kid, who is the son of him, makes a bomb. And I could very clearly tell that he was making a bomb at the beginning of the episode.
It's obvious.
I was like, yeah, that's a bomb. Like,
was
literally
another
the first
thing, too.
frame, I was like, yeah, that's a bomb.
Yeah, as soon as they show the wires, they're like, oh, great, pipe bomb. Nice.
Yeah.
Classy. Star Wars terrorists. All right.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
So when he comes out in the riot, this is, again, another moment of why does nobody do anything?
Yeah.
Because he's not even secretive about it.
No,
he runs in the open, makes this very exaggerated, dramatic bomb.
Throw!
Activating, throwing, and nobody moves. Like, they don't even care about it until the big explosion which is cool looking, but why did nobody react to it the entire time? It's not even until like they're about to basically start dying.
Yeah.
Do the stormtroopers start doing stuff?
Yeah, then the commanders or whatever, their lieutenants or whatever, then they just say open fire and just go after it. But I think part of it is just that they just didn't expect this at all. I think they didn't have the thought in their mind that this would like that the people of Ferrix would rise up like this as a whole. I think they were expecting something from Andor specifically, and maybe a few other people, but I don't think they were expecting the whole town or the whole place to rise up against the Empire.
See, that's really weird, though. How does the Empire not expect that? Their entire life as a, collective has been constantly at war with many, many races and different planets and all that kind of stuff. Even the corpo security people were prepared for this stuff. So the Empire's not ready? That's weird.
Maybe I should rephrase that. Maybe not necessarily the Empire, but those specific officers in charge. The two taller white guys that I don't know their names. Maybe they just weren't prepared for an assault like that. Maybe they just didn't have experience with it, didn't know what to do, or maybe they, I don't know.
Yeah, but even if it was just them, like, all of them do nothing.
Right.
All the officers, all the riot people, all the stormtroopers, even the death troopers get their asses whooped. I don't know if you noticed that. There was a scene whenever Lieutenant Miro comes in, and her death troopers get their asses wrecked. Yeah. They get their weapons stolen from them.
Who was it by?
These special forces troopers get their asses handed to them? Are you kidding me?
Who was it that... It was somebody... I don't remember who it was, because it was somebody, like, it wasn't just a random person. It was somebody that disarmed and messed up the death troopers.
I don't know who it was specifically, but
yeah,
the fact that it happened so casually.
Yeah.
Like,
that was one thing that I wanted to...
people might have probably just missed it because it just kind of gets glanced over.
That was one thing I wanted to talk about.
And because they're so cool.
The death troopers are one of my favorite types of stormtroopers or clone, out of all the clone troopers and stormtroopers and stuff, like the death troopers are some of my favorite because they just look so badass, and they are badass.
They are. I would say death troopers and Sith troopers are basically like your top-notch troopers.
Yeah,
these people have been trained specifically to handle the most deadly situations or whatever. They're literally kitted out for warfare at all times. Like, look how badass they look. And then this person just literally walks up and just like punches him and steals his gun. And he's just like, oh no.
Yeah. No, I do agree with you on that one. That was something that I wanted to talk about, that they show us these death troopers, but then they don't actually show them doing anything.
Right.
Like, even before
that we see them.
Even before
and
they're
like escorting her. But
right.
And they do like some half-ass room clearing on the building that has nobody in it.
Yeah, but that was like, it was the most lame,
because there was nothing. It was like, oh, he's not here.
It's like a half
Why did you
room.
bring them in anyways then? Why don't you just send a normal stormtrooper to do that?
This is one thing that I wanted to talk about that I didn't really like, because I love the death troopers so much, and they just kind of threw them in there for, I think, recognition. Like, oh, those are death troopers, cool. And then they didn't actually do anything with them.
Because wasn't Rogue One the only time we've seen them? Other time, right?
Yeah, I think so. Now that I think about it,
that's when they were chasing Cassian at home or something. Or I might not have been home, but his like hideout.
Well, we see them in the beginning of the movie when they go to get what's his face, the guy that made Jyn Erso's dad, Jalen.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Jalen Erso.
He's got the Heidi underground place.
Yeah, like that's when we first see them, and then we see them a couple other places. Because I remember how stoked I was when the trailer came out for that movie, and I saw, because they show them in the trailer, I was like, oh my god, death troopers!
Yeah, they're so cool.
They're so cool.
Every time we get a new trooper, it's just amazing.
Yeah. So I do agree with you that
they get shit on.
They just kind of get thrown in here, and I don't like it. But the skirmish itself it just turns into total chaos, and a lot of times I didn't really, like, I couldn't really figure out where anything was. Like, generally there's like a like a good side and then a bad side, and they're like clashing in the middle, and there's a middle place. But in the skirmish, it seemed like everybody was just coming from everywhere.
It's just from the way they
the way the shots were and the cinematography, like it was just kind of, it was a mess. And I get that they're just trying to show that it was just complete chaos because now the stormtroopers in the whatever those guys are called are just opening fire and just killing whoever and everybody, and then the townspeople are just trying to get away or fight back or whatever. But it was
weird is like whenever they finally the stormtroopers like, oh yeah, our lunch is over, let's actually do something, and they start shooting people. The way they shoot it is supposed to, I guess it's, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but they make it seem very sad, right? And it's like a horrible action, whatever. But the only shitty stuff we really saw was the people rioting against the officers and stuff. Like the officers do nothing because they just get their asses whooped until the point the stormtroopers come in and start shooting everybody. And then, it, like, I guess because you're supposed to feel bad for them, right? But I don't.
The townspeople? Or
the townspeople. Because, when they start shooting, it starts doing these dramatic death shots and scenes and stuff. And it's like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying. Like, you're supposed to feel bad for, the oppressed people getting demolished by the oppressors.
But they whooped their ass.
In the beginning, yeah. So, I don't know.
And that bomb, too, was violent.
Well, it triggered, like, a bunch of other grenades.
Yeah, coincidentally.
Yeah.
Let me throw this exactly where this box of grenades are sitting.
I'm just glad the rat dude, the guy that ratted out where Andor was dead. I was just like, yeah, get wrecked, fool.
Yeah.
Like, stitches.
Well, I mean, we don't actually see him
stitches.
die, but he gets...
Yeah, but then Andor passes by him, and he looks pretty dead. So,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not
yeah, it is Disney. But all I could think was just snitches get stitches.
If people can get stabbed and not die in this, somebody can just survive from a blast.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because he wasn't that close.
Yeah, fair enough. So, anything else that you picked out during the skirmish? Initially,
right before it too, I thought it was kind of retarded that Cassian spots Luthen.
Yeah,
because again, it's like, dude, Luthen's this like
he's supposed to be this sleuth character, that
super secret squirrel ninja guy.
Yeah,
like one of the best for the rebellion, and Cassian spots him in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, he's basically just standing in the open, like.
He did. I will say he did look weird. Like some of his facial expressions and body language was kind of just weird. It was awkward.
I wasn't a fan of that. And then, I mean, once it's his scene in the end, it's totally fine. Like he's great.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was stupid that he's just like in the open, not secret at all. Like anybody can see me.
Yeah. We also get this really cringy scene between Cinta and Vel. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really cringy.
Another one.
Yeah, because Cinta kills this ISB officer that she had been tailing, and then they go back to like Cinta's place and start packing up all of her gear and stuff. And Vel's
Cinta does. Vel shows up finally, and she's like, "Oh, you're here."
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, let me help you." And then blah, 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 blah.
It's just more of the same crap that we've been complaining about from before. It's more of Cinta doing her job.
Yeah.
And then Vel just
wanting to
acting like, but
what about my emotions?
Love. Yeah, and blah, 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 blah. And for the rebellion, except not when I want it to be for me.
Yeah, only when I'm not around you.
Yeah. But it's like never actually for the rebellion when it's your moment to be for the rebellion.
Cinta is probably the most like for the rebellion character in this show.
She is.
She's
honestly been the most stable rebellion like soldier this entire time.
She does not care about anything other than the cause.
Well, it's not that she doesn't care, but she
can
prioritizing the rebellion, which is what the rebellion needs right now. Like, how are you going to start a rebellion with a bunch of idiots?
Yeah. As long as Cinta's around, at least we got a fighting chance. I guess.
Because we don't got Nemec anymore.
Right. Which
we do.
That was another thing that I wanted to talk about just real briefly. Is in the beginning of the episode, they heavily show Nemec's manifesto.
Yeah.
But then they never like bring it up again.
No.
And it's to me, it's just like, why? Like I think
you're pulling
at our heartstrings.
Yeah, it's just supposed to be another emotional moment.
Yeah, you're pulling at it.
And
but
I guess because it's like touches the rebellious stuff. That's the only relation I could think of. But it's like, what specifically do you need with this?
They could have done. There's stuff they could have done with that. Obviously, Nemec's manifesto is going to play a large part of
I feel
why
like they should have
Andor
just saved it though.
They could have, for sure. They could have. No, they could have. But because they put it in at the beginning, which I didn't think was wrong, because yeah, sure, we're seeing Andor emotions running high, and then he's also emotional about Nemec and the manifesto, which I get it. Like all of that coincides well. But to me, it's only proper if later on you call back to it, and the fact that the decisions that Andor made throughout this story, from just this episode specifically, were emotional for sure, but they also had a grander purpose of, like, to me it seems like he's finally turning over to the fact that he's going to be a rebel, right? Because that's essentially what happens at the end of the...
That's basically it, yeah.
Yeah, and so it would have made sense if there was some kind of callback, especially at the end of the episode. So like we could talk about the final scene specifically. I thought I saved a picture of it. I guess not.
I don't think so.
So this isn't the final scene, but it involves the character that I'm going to talk. So the final scene of the show is Andor in Luthen's ship, and he's like, kill me or take me in. Which basically is like, kill me or make me a part of this rebellion. All right, let me be
How did he get in this shit?
a part. I don't know, whatever. Movie magic. So, like, for me, at that point, like, what would have been cool was something like, give him the manifesto. Be like, this is like my final, like, because of this, because of the events that just happened, like, that you just witnessed happen here in Ferrix, and because of this manifesto that I got from somebody that I cared about a little bit, I guess. Like, these are the reasons why I'm ready to fully commit to being part of the rebellion, or I am satisfied with where I'm at, and if you kill me, then that's fine. So, because they didn't, it's kind of just like, well, he kind of just threw away Nemec's manifesto, really, and now there's not really, like, it would be weird if you brought it back in later on.
They're gonna bring it back later on.
It's gonna be weird. I don't like it.
Bring it back. It's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
At least I don't think it's gonna be good. But they're gonna bring it back. I didn't like it. I don't think it should have been there at all. I just don't think they need to bring that in. I think they should have waited for season 2 for that.
Sure. Okay.
Because it would have made more sense after the end, and he's like, look, I'm going to stick with you.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Luthen decides to let him live or not. And then, knowing, obviously, he does. Then while they're traveling together, then he looks at the manifesto, listens to it, all that kind of stuff.
And then further cements his decision to turn. Yeah, I can see that. In the end, though, despite all of those little things that piss me off, or not, I don't want to say piss me off, but just kind of turned me off a little bit, I still did enjoy the episode.
We got your boy back again, too.
I was literally just going to say that. Bro, I enjoyed it because he also kicks a stormtrooper out of his bell
drop
tower.
Kick somebody off his tower.
Yeah. So who we're referring to is the bell keep guy with the...
Yep. His job is just banging on the thing.
Bangs on it a lot throughout the episode. In fact...
Yeah, he basically just creates the
tone and the
cadence for everything going on.
And it's great. And then one of the lieutenants sends a stormtrooper up there to tells him to stop it.
I thought it was weird. Like, I'm glad we got a cool shot of him kicking the stormtrooper off. And I was like, why didn't the Stormtrooper just shoot him?
Yeah.
Like, who wants to walk all the way up this thing to get this guy? Just shoot him.
Yeah, well, it
was funny as hell.
It was great.
But yeah,
It was great because he does the same thing. He's like,
he just keeps going, and then he's just like, get off my lawn.
Yeah, it was great. I loved that part. And even though the skirmish was disjointed and confusing and whatnot, it was exciting. Got my blood pumping, and it was also cover for Andor to save Bix, which thank God, because Bix, I don't think Bix was lasting another couple days, man. Bix was messed. No. Bix is messed up.
She's gone, bro.
I don't know what the heck the doctors did to her, but she is messed up.
Yeah,
so
she's still got demons.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's sad. Like, I feel bad for her. Like, just as a human being in general. I don't know. Like, people, that's just messed up.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but at least you're out of it now.
Yeah. So. And I really, like, I don't know. I enjoyed like this kind of stuff. Like, even though we didn't really know Marva was this big of a deal. It's just cool to see how this particular society mourns their dead and does their
it was
their
very
rituals,
like I said, it was very good. I loved the whole scene of it and the build up.
Yeah,
with the sounds, the instruments,
the
uniforms, just everybody walking down the street carrying Marva's brick and stuff. It was great. It's a great setup. It's just to me the ending was a little weird.
No, I get you. Yeah. So yeah, that was all cool, and I enjoyed it. The way it ends with Andor.
We're forgetting our favorite characters.
What?
Syril.
Oh, I was gonna just kind of throw it in at the end because it's fucking fine. I swear I saved the picture.
No, I don't think so.
What?
We couldn't find one.
No, there was a picture of him and the sergeant that I thought I saved. Damn it. Well, during the skirmish, actually, there's a lot of them in this episode.
Yeah, they actually show up a lot.
Yeah.
Just randomly, like periodically.
The scene of him and the sergeant on the transport ship where they exchange hats? What? What the hell was
first of all, it's like, wait, how do we go from... What? Where's that door?
Yeah.
No, to... Oh, hey, what's up,
we're on the ship together, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Yeah. You just happen to be on this?
What'd I go?
Yeah, and then there's this just such a cringy scene of Syril sitting there looking at his hat, and obviously it's like in disgust, and then the sergeant like takes off his hat and he's like, here, and switches.
I thought it was...
What the fuck was that even about?
I thought it was funny, but just... I still can't stand seeing
It's a comical scene. Like a bad comical. Not like funny comical. Like, just like, this is so dumb. Like, why is this even in here?
I just hate that I liked these characters so much in the beginning, and now they're just gone.
And then we get... I thought I put that other one in there, too. But then during the skirmish...
Even worse scene.
Oh, my God.
The worst scene of this entire
Are we talking about him and Miro, or talking about before? Because there's another really cringy scene of him, like, rushing into the battle.
That is bad, too, but that's not as bad as the other one.
Yeah, but it was so
But it is equal. It's right before the battle. But he just storms in as if he's the...
He's gonna say
officer in charge, and they're like, "No, you can't come in here." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like surprised, like, "What are you doing, dude? You're nothing. Get out of here.
Bad.
Go home." Like,
it's so bad. So then he like rushes into the battle and doesn't do anything.
He just stands there.
Hey, he just I don't know where he does or where he goes. But then later on, towards the end of the battle, Miro, her death troopers get wrecked. And then Miro is getting wrecked by people, and
she loses her pistol,
getting trampled, and all this stuff.
Somebody picks it up,
and then she gets picked up by a group of people, but then all of a sudden ends up in a single person's hands.
Syril picks up the pistol, pretends like he's part of the riot, and like, I got her, and sneaks her off to the side to save her.
Come with me if you want to live.
Oh man, they took this and they just...
It was so bad. It was so bad. So the final scene of that particular storyline is Syril and Miro in like a closet thing or like some kind of
It's just garbage.
In a closet, and they're like,
All
up
up
close
each
to him.
other.
Muriel's about to kill him, and then he's like, hug me.
Yeah.
And she's like, you?
Yeah. It is.
What?
Oh,
How did you?
God.
How? And I was just, oh my God, you're supposed to be an officer in the ISB, and you're getting your
I don't know if it's
shit
just,
rocked like this.
I don't know
Like,
if it's just me, but
you were waiting for them to kiss?
it's
Yeah.
clearly
Yeah.
set up to be that.
Yeah.
And we're just like, why?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Stop, Syril. You're poisoning everybody.
Yeah, it's so
And
bad.
it's just like, like. I remember we talked
Very
about this.
thankful that they didn't kiss.
Oh, it's
but I
happening.
felt like
it's
that, like,
coming.
I 100%.
Actually, you know what? I take that back. Not only is that coming, I wouldn't be surprised if they have sex on this show
On screen,
next
yeah.
season. I mean, you're
Well,
not
with
going
the
to
way
see
that-
anything, but it's going to be
Yeah,
implied.
but like how we've seen it already in this
because
series.
remember we talked about this
Yeah.
where they like have this weird love thing on. This
And now that he
this
saved her,
absolutely sets it up. Yes, because now
Yeah.
she has a reason to fall for him.
yeah, like,
It's
well,
like,
you
oh
saved me. It's so bad. It's so bad. Because even Syril in this moment of being the savior, he's like
bet
a
you-
little whiny bitch.
And
He's
yeah,
like, oh,
dude,
it's me.
I bet you in his mind he was like, "Yes, now she has to love me. I saved her." Oh my god!
It's so bad. It's so cringy. I fully expected them to kiss. Like during the scene, I was like,
Yeah,
oh, they're about to
they're
kiss.
literally like holding each
Yeah.
other, waiting for it.
And she's like on the verge of tears.
Yeah, like
and he's on the verge
it really
of tears.
looks like it. The way they shoot it from the side too, it's
Yeah.
like the perfect shot
Yeah.
for a kiss, but they just don't do it.
It's so bad. Oh man, I don't know what you guys are doing, but next season, let's just figure out a way to kill them off without
Like I
talking
said,
about it or something. Like,
No. They're going all the way. They are surviving all the way till season 3. They are going to
my
be
God.
married.
Mary.
We're going to get baby Syril.
Oh my
Just
God.
kidding. Yeah, no,
It's
but
so bad.
they're
though.
definitely gonna fall in love.
It's the worst.
Actually, I lied. They already did. They just don't know it yet.
It's the worst subplot or like sub storyline of a Star Wars series or movie probably that I've seen in a long time. Like it's so bad. It might be
really
the
bad.
worst in Star Wars.
I don't know if it's the worst, but it's
Because there's a
definitely
lot.
bad.
There's a lot. So
Yeah,
it's
there's
probably,
a lot of bad
it's
stuff.
probably hard to say that it's the worst because I'd have to really think about that. But like, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's pretty bad. Oh God! All right, we're done talking about that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like Syril or the storyline, you're just wrong. Okay, there's no way you're gonna convince me that that's world-class storytelling. There's no way you're gonna convince me that he's a good character or good character development or good. Just no, no, you're wrong. Okay, sorry, you're wrong. Okay, whew. All right. Moving on to the end. The end. So now Andor. We get kind of like an Inception ending where like Andor's like, kill me or take me in, and then, Luthen's like, maybe I should kill him, maybe I shouldn't, and then it ends. Which obviously doesn't kill him.
Honestly, it was so funny.
But it's just like, why?
I was like, wouldn't it be so great if
yeah,
you
she's just like, bah!
said, kill me? You said.
I mean, that's what I came here for.
Yeah,
so.
that's kind of the whole point. Well, obviously, they can't do that.
No, because it would ruin everything, but it would have been kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it would be funny if they actually did that.
It would be kind of funny.
And if they did that, I probably would have gave it a 7. Just because it would have been so out of this world that I'm like,
and then they would have had to figure out some way to
then
like,
they would have to really start cranking the storytelling.
the world-class storytelling.
I was like, that would have been funny. But no, yeah.
I don't mind the way it ends. It obviously sets us up for Andor to become very heavily involved in the Resistance moving forward. Sets us up for season 2 and 3, right? I don't know when those are coming out.
Probably not for a while. So
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of other stuff coming, so it's probably gonna be a little bit, but I could see there being some cool stuff going on. There's still a lot that needs to happen with Mon Mothma. Still need Senator Organa to be brought in here at some point. Even stuff
He's
with
probably not going to get touched till like way later though.
even stuff with what's his face, Forrest Whitaker's character. Jeez. Saul Guerrero. Like, there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen with that because he does help them in the beginning, and then he branches out and goes off on his own. And there's kind of a falling out between him and the rebellion. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that could be really cool if they do it right.
We'll see.
But based off how they did Syril, I don't know. I don't know.
Do I really want them to start touching really cool things and then doing...
and then mixing it with the Syril storyline? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. And then finally, I just want to touch on the after credit scene. Just like, if you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, there is a after credit scene of the final episode, and it's just this scene of some pieces of the Death Star being built, right, and then showing that the Death Star is being built, but it starts zoomed in on a very specific piece being placed, and it's obviously the pieces that Andor and all of the people that were in that prison or that work camp were making. And so I just wanted to talk about it because it's a cool after credit scene. It's cool. Doesn't really give us anything for the future because like we knew that was happening. But I just want to talk about it because, like I told you off air, there were a lot of points in our episode breakdowns where I wanted to comment on what they were actually building, and because I always knew they were building something for the Death Star like that. I know it's hard to say that now because obviously we've seen it, so it kind of sounds like I'm being like, oh, I said it first, but I really did think that they were building something for the Death Star. It just, during our episode breakdowns, we just never got around to talking about it. So
I mean, we miss a few things all the time. So,
but I just thought it was cool, and it kind of just ties up that part. Yeah,
I mean, it's cool. It's a neat little detail, but it doesn't really change anything. It's just it was just a cool add-on.
To wrap up this episode, Taylor, who or what storyline or what thing would you like to see brought back for season 2? What would be your
from season 1?
Yeah, from season 1 specifically. Like, what do you most want to see either brought back or expanded on, or just what's one thing that you really want to see happen in season 2?
I think just the continuation with Lieutenant Miro and the ISB.
More internal looks at the way the Empire works.
Because everything else kind of gets left with a bad note to me.
Okay, that's a fair point. For me, I don't think that Kino is done. I don't think his storyline is done, and I'd really like to see Andy Serkis reprise his role as Kino somewhere.
Well, they're gonna have to come up with some really good world-class storytelling to continue Kino lore. I would love to see more of him.
This is like a hopeful thing for me. And I don't know that it's gonna happen, but I would love to see more Kino.
Yeah, it'd be very cool to see him because he was great.
Yeah, I love Andy Serkis. So, but for me, that pretty much wraps up season 1 of Andor. I think we kind of hit it on the head of our feelings towards this episode and the season as in a whole. That like we really like a lot of the stuff, but there's just some very specific things that are just so bad that it really brings down the rest of the show, and would be a lot better off without it. So, ladies and gentlemen, what did you guys think of Andor? Did you enjoy the series as a whole? It seems like the show itself is not getting a whole lot of attention, but for the people that are watching it and are paying attention to it, it seems like it's been very popular, and people are very like, I mean, we even got a pretty angry comment on one of our videos about how amazing the movie or the TV show is. So I'm curious to know what your guys' thoughts are on the season as a whole. Let us know what your guys' final scores would be. Like, if you're scoring on our scale of 1 to 10, what would your guys' final scores be for this season? Throw it down in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you guys. So thank you guys for being here. Please like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend. Catch us on social media and Canon Media Cast on Instagram and Twitter. And we will catch you guys in the next episode.
Bye, guys.